stopped him, "Don't be so troublesome." Pa. I slapped the model hard in the face. I have been twisting these little fairies for a long time. They are always people who like to use violence without reason. Really, Ivy endured it to the extreme. The model outside the 2 clearances was kicked out by the security guard, and the company's order was restored to normal, but colleagues had more topics to talk about after dinner. Lu Qian disappeared for a while, then came to my workstation and handed me the medicine for the injury. I couldn't tell if the heartache in Lu Qian's eyes was true or false. I could do it myself. In front of the mirror, Tu Yao avoided Lu Qian's gaze. He stood not far away from the backlit tree, feeling a bit lonely. He started playing me again, and I wanted to resign. I have always wanted to resign for the past 3 years. The first time I wanted to resign was because I was slapped for the first time. I was young and full of energy, and I couldn't bear this grievance. I took the breakup fee to find that woman, and she slapped me without hesitation. In public, a group of passers-by came to join in the fun, some helped me, and some talked about it. After that, I learned a lesson. From then on, I would meet in a private room where no one was around and get slapped. I was surrounded and gossiped by strangers who didn't know the truth. Even the concern for me made me feel awkward. When I got home, I immediately called Lu Jian and said I couldn't do it and wanted to resign. Lu Jian immediately came to my house. He helped me find a house, so he knew Lu. I had nothing in this city, but he arranged everything for me. He is a good boss, and I never questioned this. Lu Qian looked at the marks on my face and was very worried. He took me to the hospital and applied medicine to me with a distressed face, saying that his face was choking me. He leaned very close, his face less than 30 centimeters away from my line of sight. I could see his long and dense eyelashes and charming peach blossom eyes. I swallowed my saliva. Fortunately, my face turned red, otherwise it would have been very embarrassing. He gave me 30,000 yuan as compensation and asked me to reconsider resigning. Can't I have a problem with money? As long as the money is in place, what can't I tolerate? After that, I also had inappropriate thoughts. He broke up with me a month ago and hasn't found another one yet. Could he have some thoughts about me? That day was somewhat ambiguous. I had a dream of Cinderella becoming a princess when I was young. What if I was the female lead who convinced the prodigal son? Obviously, I was overthinking it. She had an online relationship that month, and I still dealt with it for her afterwards. Little lovers have all kinds of styles, each with their own unique appearance and length of time, and the ending is exactly the same. Every time we break up, she has to say ambiguous words and do ambiguous actions. To me. After talking about me, I went from being at a loss at the beginning to being shy and nervous, then developing into anger and resistance, and then becoming accustomed to indifference. After all, it's just a job. Can I be rich and unable to be? It's a joke. 8 million breakup fee, who wouldn't be tempted? I am really tempted. But I have self-awareness and there is no need to ruin my future by making a scene. I know he can play with others at will and then discard them, but I don't have the capital to play this game with him. I always keep my rationality and guard against falling into the trap. Lu Qian started again. He insisted on sending me off work. It only takes 10 minutes to walk to the place where I live, and it takes at least half an hour to drive. It's really not necessary. When I ran away, he chased me across the road with ease and agility. He was stuck in a high-priced car for a night, comparable to an old man taking a walk. I told him not to send me home. Half an hour later, my salary card 100,000, and I was very satisfied. Aya was right, I could bear 10 mouths at this price. Aya said, I have a small mindset, at least 20, I love money, and I never avoid it. After receiving a huge salary in the first year, I asked Lu Qian to teach me how to manage my finances, so he introduced me to a manager. The money I invested had a super high return on investment. If we include investing in stocks, I should be financially free now. I still have 3 million cash on hand, which is more than enough to buy a house in my hometown. So let's put the resignation on the agenda. The project in hand is basically over, and I will cultivate a successor as soon as possible and strive to leave at the end of next month. The next day, I went to the company to listen to colleagues' discussions, saying that Lu Qian banned the peripheral model. This may be the first little lover who broke up without receiving a breakup fee and was rectified. Why do I always say little lover? Because Lu Qian has a fiancé, who is also a business boss and has similar financial resources. He and Lu are playing their own games and not interfering with each other. I found out about the second-hand marriage in the second year, and after being shocked, I Also felt very understanding. Most second-generation rich are like this, absurd yet reasonable. Lu Qiyan is also sticky to me, always sticking to me for no reason. He always acts like this, and my heart has long been numb. Don't go to the cafeteria, come eat outside with me. If Qiyan looks at me with his peach blossom eyes, Mai looks at me affectionately. The employee cafeteria reflects the financial strength of a company. As the boss, you should recognize our cafeteria's meat and vegetable combination. If the dishes are not arranged by the restaurant, I won't go eat alone with him. After listening, he nodded with a smile. His secretary was right, so I also went to experience the staff canteen. I rolled my eyes inwardly and said, "Man, don't go too far." Lu Qiyan followed me to the staff canteen, still remembering his image, such as halal self-discipline, all vegetarian dishes. No wonder he has such a great figure and eats more too. Lose weight. Xiao Yi is really cute. We just don't understand why he flirts around like a peacock. Is it too lonely? Not really. He can choose a top-notch beautiful woman at will. He is usually so busy that he splits his time in half, but still insists on dating with a strong sense of ceremony. After watching a movie with his girlfriend, he goes home alone to hold a cross-border meeting until late at night. At 5 a.m., he accompanies his girlfriend to watch the sunrise, goes back to the company to catch up on sleep, and plays golf with the bosses at 9 a.m. We are somewhat in awe of this. Does Secretary Qi like to eat light food? I said without changing my expression that I like spicy food. Secretary Qi is not honest. You never eat spicy food. Lu Qiyan is very confident. I have attended many business dinners with him and we eat very emotionally every day. I have a bad stomach, but I love spicy food and can only eat light, but I don't like it. I explained it seriously, but his secretary was hinting at me. I received Lu Qian's message and showed an understanding expression. Ridiculous, what did I imply to him? I just wanted to argue. And I chose to shut up because I couldn't communicate with him. We are now sitting face to face in the employee cafeteria, attracting everyone's attention. I can't even have lunch in the afternoon. There is no doubt that I am hungry. I can't even eat lunch in the cafeteria. Just as I was about to pick up my phone to order takeout, I found that the company's afternoon tea had arrived. Employee benefits are also common. Secretary Qi, your exclusive colleague, shouted at me loudly. As soon as I heard it, I knew that Lu Qiyan was messing around again. In the takeout that was exclusive to Secretary Qi, there was a small portion of Buddha jumps over the wall lemon sour and spicy chicken feet. Your boneless coconut chicken feet had a spicy taste but were not stimulating, and my favorite coconut. I calmly took it, and my colleagues looked at me. What are they looking at? Isn't my effort for the company worth having an exclusive afternoon tea? Following Lu Qiyan for these years, I know that his behavior is a process engraved in his bones. As long as he has money, any amount of love can be reflected. I never believed that he really liked me. When I was young, I was really moved, but now I have been watching for 3 years and I take it too lightly. I worked overtime at the company and finished proofreading the project proposal. Lu Qiyan invited me to dinner again. My colleagues had all left. I couldn't help but ask him, "Mr. Lu, are you getting braver after setbacks? Do you have to take me down? I don't understand, why bother?" Sincerely asking, regardless of whether he is the boss or not, does Secretary Qi really not remember? Lu Qiyan looked into my eyes, like dewdrops on lotus leaves, clear and bright. It's really beautiful, the kind of face that makes criminals feel sorry for. We met when we were young and played together in the park. We agreed that you would be the mother and I would be the father in the future. What is this? When I was 7 years old, I was still in my hometown, not in the same city. Yes, that summer vacation, my parents and I went to your hometown for a trip. We met in the park out of boredom. From that moment on, I deeply remembered that little girl. Later, I recognized you at a glance on the street. Unfortunately, her secretary didn't think of me at all. I went to Hainan to find my dad every summer vacation, and I dressed like a boy when I was a child. Mr. Lu, you got the wrong person. I was wild when I was a child, climbing trees every day. My mom thought it was troublesome to comb my hair, so she cut it into a crew cut. Well, this is what I just made up. What if it really happened? He winked and smiled, never so speechless in his life. Lu Qiyan was not embarrassed at all. I had long been used to this thing and had a strong psychological quality without any flaws. I maintained a professional work attitude, politely said goodbye to him, but he didn't catch up. As the boss, he always arranged every time he teased me reasonably, purely for fun. The next day, Lu Qiyan returned to normal. Today's him is not the same as yesterday's. He made a decisive decision, cut 3 projects, banned the disreputable artists of the entertainment subsidiary, signed 3 investment plans, and finalized the engineering plan with the CEO of the construction group. As soon as possible, I will finalize the time to discuss cooperation with Mr. Zhao of Funrui Company. Excluding my free time at 10 a.m. tomorrow, I will go to the newly opened hotel to attend the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Okay, boss, this is very normal. It would be great if Lu Qiyan could always be so serious. How much trouble can I save? Why can't we maintain a simple work relationship and have to win me over? Handling daily work is very easy for me. I trained newbie Xiao Zheng, who is a public relations and literary major, more professional than me. The most important thing is that he is a long-haired Tao Tao Lu, which is really worry-free. If it weren't for Lu Jian not liking male secretaries, I would definitely find a tall and strong man with a messy beard to submit a resignation letter. The person said that I should personally hand it over to Lu Jian and let him know. He didn't approve the resignation letter, but I can leave on my own after a month. What I handed in was not an application, but a notice of the last month in this city. I remembered my ambition back then. In fact, I could stay, but I couldn't find the meaning of staying. This city didn't leave me with any hot memories. On brightly lit nights, I was just a little fly under the street lamp, and I had no sense of belonging here. Aya was a teacher in her hometown, and many good friends had returned home. I could never fit into this city. During the month of my entry into the postgraduate program, he tried his best to keep me. He increased my salary from 80,000 to 120,000, and the year-end bonus was tripled. I was not moved. In fact, I know my value is not so high. I am a double non-university undergraduate, my major is not relevant, and my ability is not outstanding. I met a fat cat and met a generous boss. I still scolded him in my heart every day. I was very resistant to dealing with his mistress.